Chatterton, the Allington solution.
I hope you're not getting drunk, Allington.
Why ever not? It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
We are here to celebrate my book, not to watch you making a fool of yourself.
You have already made a fool of yourself by writing this book. I'm merely returning the compliment.
You're sneering again.
No, I object to the thesis. I'm not sneering. The romantic tragedy, death and madness in English poetry. It's the same old nonsense about the romantic poets being driven to despair by poverty and drink and opium addiction. Yet every generation has had the same problems.
Drink being one of them, I suppose.
Why did the expression of these problems take a particular form in the late 18th century? That is the question.
And how do you answer it?
You have to close your eyes and imagine you're there. You have to hear the voices in the next room.
Oh, has it come to that? Voices?
It always comes to that, always will do. You have to think it through. You can't keep peddling the same old theory that the Romantics were doomed. It's all so sentimental, so mawkish, so old-fashioned.
Steady on. I am the head of the department.
But the department is literary history, not mythology.
Still...
Show me some respect. Was that what you were about to say?
No, Jeremy. Show yourself some respect. Look at you. Is Ruth coming?
Why do you want to know? Can't wait to see her.
I merely want to know if she can carry you home.
What am I supposed to be doing?
Oh, hello. It's good to see you again, Ruth.
Good to see you, Ralph. It's been a while.
Shall I leave you two alone together?
How much have you had to drink?
Enough.
Why do you ask me to come to these things when you can hardly stand up?
You're my partner, my companion in arms.
Shh, I hate the smell of drink on your breath.
Excuse me, things are about to start. I'm being introduced by Mark Lawson, Radio 4.
Why do you always get like this?
Like what?
Irritable. Angry.
I am angry. Angry at this phony event.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm very pleased to welcome you all here and to introduce Ralph Partridge's new book. It's the first book published this century to celebrate the romantic movement in poetry.
It's rubbish.
It deals with the descent into despair and madness, which is one...
bollocks!
Nevertheless, we are here to discuss this fascinating volume, which will add to the stock of academic and literary knowledge.
So you're awake at last?
Oh,
Do you remember anything about the party?
not much.
Ralph wants to see you in his office on Monday.
When did he tell you that?
Last night.
Oh, yes. What else did he say to you? Leave that drunk. Jeremy Allington is a wastrel, a failure. Come live with me and be my love. Well, go on, then. He is in love with the Romantics, after all.
Sometimes, Jeremy, you can be obnoxious.
You wanted to see me, Ralph?
Yes, come in. Sit down.
No, please.
We are deeply unhappy with you.
Is that the royal we?
The department, Jeremy. Did you know that the event last week was being recorded for Radio 4?
No, I didn't.
But I suppose that would not have stopped you.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Sorry is not enough. You have totally undermined the work of this department.
What do you want me to do? Resign?
That is a possibility. Yes.
He wants me to resign. The threat, of course, is outright dismissal.
He's bluffing.
I'm not so sure.
So what do you intend to do?
Have a refreshing drink?
Why?
Why what? Why drink? For the simplest reason in the world, I enjoy it. I enjoy the sensation of slipping away. I enjoy the slumber of my faculties. Then I can hear the voices.
Mr. Chatterton! Mr. Chatterton! Postboy's here!
I hear them, Sam. I hear them when I sit by Old Stone. ancient dwellings inciting me a reverie. I can feel the shadows coming closer.
Oh, you smell like an old wine barrel, you tosspot.
I am not empty, Sam. I am filled to the brim. This is the true Empyrean, the holy fire. I worship the god who fills the mouth. One sip and I sing.
You are a fool in your cups, Tom.
I have this vision, Sam, of impending greatness. A vision of light. No, not of light. A vision of words. It's like a dream, you know? A waking dream.
Ralph, I just want you to hold back for a while. Don't force the issue just yet. I can help him. I know I can.
Why do you stay with him, Ruth?
I don't know. Force of habit, I suppose. No, that's not true. Pity, I think. I pity him.
Beware of pity.
I have found him in the past, sobbing in that little flat of his. He had such hopes, and he's come to nothing. How could I possibly abandon him?
If that is what you believe, well... before you go, I have something for you. I've already signed it.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
There are other people in the world, you know, Ruth.
Not now, Ralph. Now's not the time.
My present profession, Mamma, obliges me to frequent places of the best resort, so I employ all my money in fitting myself fashionable and getting into good company. This last consideration always brings me in an interest. I have been in deep talk with a gentleman who is going to advance pretty deeply into the book-selling branches. My employment will be to write in verse a voluminous history of London. This will not, like writing political essays, oblige me to go to the coffee-house. I can lucubrate at home. Lucubrate. What rhymes with lucubrate?
Now, what is this before me? The Romantic Tragedy by Ralph Partridge. I hope you didn't buy it.
He gave it to me.
Let me see. To Ruth, with much love from Ralph. A very pretty gift, but worthless.
Jeremy, I just
Listen to me. You see this picture on the front cover? It sums up the book. Look. What do you see?
It's that painting of Chatterton, of course.
No, look again. Describe it to me.
Ooh, Chatterton is lying on a bed with his head to one side. He has a white shirt and blue trousers.
Yeah, they're called breeches.
I know that. I prefer to call them trousers. His right arm is hanging down, his hand touching the floor as if he were sick or dead or something. His left hand is clasped on his chest. There's a pot of flowers on the window ledge. I think they're geraniums. The window is open. There are scraps of paper all over the floor. He's dead, I'm sure of it. He has nice hair.
No.
Well, I've always liked red hair. He killed himself with arsenic, didn't he?
Well, that's the problem, you see. Everyone says that he committed suicide. Ralph Partridge is convinced that he committed suicide. It corroborates his thesis that the Romantic poets were doomed to madness and despair. Other so-called scholars have made the same claim, but I don't think so at all. I've been looking into the life of young Thomas Chatterton, you see. Unlike Ralph Partridge, I have been reading the periodicals of the period. I shall issue such a counterblast to Partridge.
Oh, stick to the point, Jeremy.
Look, Chatterton had a short history, but an interesting one.
I was born in that shithole of Bristol, Sam, in 1752, in the sure and certain hope of being reviled and abused and condemned by the natives of that city, who are like the androcephalogoi of the travellers' tales.
Who?
They carry their heads where their pricks should be. My father was the singing master at the church, but since he expired 3 months before my birth, I never knew him. It has, however, often occurred to me that I must have heard his singing while I was yet in my mother's womb, hence my own love for music, even those discordant airs that sail over the pleasure gardens.
But his father had a greater presence in Chatterton's life. He was a collector of antiquarian documents, considered then by most people to be old and rotten stuff. He had gathered in a wooden chest all the antiquities he found, deeds, scrolls, illuminated manuscripts, that sort of thing. There was no reason at all why they should interest Chatterton.
I was dull at learning, Sam, I admit it. I knew no letters at all at 5 years old, and I objected on principle to conning them by rote from a horn book. Such a little book. But then there came a revelation. My mother was in one of her crying moods, and to freshen her tears, she brought out a box which she said had belonged to my father.
Tommy, look. Do you see this parchment? The colouring is very pretty for such an old thing. Shall we sell it and purchase some firewood?
No, indeed not. Oh, you have found a treasure that may kindle more than a winter's fire.
These, Tom? They're no use except as thread papers or as fool's caps for boys.
I may be a fool, I said, but I wish to be a wise one. So then she showed me other such dirty stuff, as she called it. There were my father's books, lodged at the bottom of the chest. You have heard of the miracle of Alfred the Great?
Something to do with burnt cakes?
No connection whatever. Alfred learned to read by miracle, overnight. I was not so quick, but I was quick enough. I was taught by the capitals at the beginning of each paragraph. And pretty soon I was devouring everything my father had amassed. I read of heraldry and of astronomy, of physic and of antiquities, believe me. I had become a living piece of the past. I had become a little flame from an old fire.
Don't waste that paper with your scratchings, boy.
Straight was I carried back to times of yore, whilst the poet swathed yet in fleshly bed, and saw all actions which han been before, and saw the scroll of fate unravelled, and when the fate-marked babe a come to sight, I saw him eager grasping after light. What do you think of that, Mar? Can I persuade the good old Bristolians that I have found their Homer, their Virgil?
I will never credit it, Tom. You were known for a simpleton.
And all the better for it. What if I had not written these verses? What if I had discovered them? What then? Would you not think that the paunchy citizens will pay for the old memorials of their city?
Poetry is the true philosopher's stone. It turns words into gold.
I knew it then, and I know it now. I do not want to be some starveling in a garret.
So success in Bristol was not nearly enough. He had larger ambitions. He knew himself to be a poet, and began to write freely on his own account with satires and elegies of his own time. Partridge is wrong. He was not a romantic poet at all. He was a hack, a journeyman writer. But he was a hack of genius. He began corresponding with the editors of London journals, and at the age of 16 his poems began to be published. So he came to the capital in high hopes.
I am pleased to make your acquaintance at last, Mr. Crane.
The pleasure is mine, Mr. Chatterton. Ever since you sent me the parcel of writings from Bristol, I have longed to know you. Is there nothing you cannot do?
I can only write, sir. I have words of fire. And I have words of wit. And I have words to make you weep. I have words to make you wonder.
I said to myself that these cannot be the writings of a youth. They are too magisterial. They are too assured. You have astonished me, Mr. Chatterton.
But he was only in London for 4 months. On the 23rd of August, 1770, he was found dead, sprawled upon his bed in an attic room in Holborn. There was little interest at the time, but his reputation and the fame of his death grew and grew. And look what I found.
Photocopies?
These are the proceedings of the coroner's court that investigated Chatterton's death. They were in the Shoe Lane library.
Why didn't you tell me all this before?
I wanted to surprise you. And I thought that you might tell Ralph.
Give your evidence, Mrs. Angel, about your unfortunate lodger.
I knocked on the door at 8 o'clock, bearing just a piece of bread and cheese. He'd not eaten for days, to my certain knowledge. I knocked again, but there was no answer. Silence, sir. He's in a pretty deep sleep, I says to myself, but there's no harm in waking him at this hour, so I goes in. What a shock it was. There was a smell of almonds in the air. There was vomit on my floor and something else.
Something else?
Something better found in a privy, sir.
I see. And what do you think the cause was, Mrs. Angel?
The cause? He was poor. Dirt poor. He was in want. That's why he came to Holborn. We're not quality, sir, God knows. I am only 6 shillings a week.
That was not true. He'd been living in Shoreditch before he lodged in Holborn. He'd been lodging with his godmother, but he wanted a room of his own.
I am tired of my godmother, Mr. Crane. She gods me and she mothers me. If I come back late, she scowls at me. If I come home drunk... No, I do not come home drunk.
I know of a room.
Where?
Close by. It is owned by a Mrs. Angel.
Angel of my deliverance. Angel of light.
I would not say that exactly. She works in the Vauxhall Gardens. Ah, there she is. Over there. Serving wine to those 3 ostlers. It is not the only thing she sells. She works here under an assumed name, of course.
She is no angel here.
Ah, she's known as Mistress Jane, or to others, Mistress Quickly.
Torches are very bright.
I should remind you of your approaching fame.
Whole of life is ahead of us.
Ahead of you. That is what you mean. My own day is done.
Oh, you may outlive me yet, Mr. Crane.
That's hardly possible. I've made nothing of my life, but you may do great things yet. Let me shake your hand, Mr. Chatterton. There. Here is one going forward, and one passing away. We have met for an instant on our journey. You will be remembered. I shall be forgotten.
He was a poet, sir.
A poet?
He wrote verses.
That is regrettable.
Well, it can be a cause of suffering, I grant you. It is brain work, you see. He would never suffer his room to be swept.
I beg your pardon?
He told me that poets hated brooms. I did not like to disturb him when he was poetising.
What kind of verses did he write, Mrs. Angel?
They were for the newspapers, sir.
He was a satirist,
I know nothing about satirism, sir. He wrote in English, I believe.
Did you ever read them?
Me? No, read? No, sir. But sometimes he would expound them to me.
Now, Mrs. Angel, Jane, I've been asked by Mr. Crane to write a lament on the death of Alderman Phillips. I never met the man, but that is no reason why I should not mourn him. The best grief is the least expected. Shall I charge a penny a tear? Is that not fair, Mrs. Angel?
Oh, if you say so.
Well, this is what I say. Now rest, my muse, but only rest to weep. A friend made dear by every sacred tie. Unknown to me, be comfort, peace, or sleep. Phillips is dead. 'Tis pleasure then to die. Did that hit the right note? Is it the thing?
Well, I don't know what the thing is, Mr. Chatterton, but I am sure that you have it.
Was he ever in low spirits? In a melancholy?
I had him down to dine with me one evening. I thought he needed some fattening. He was as tall and thin as a beadle's staff. So I invited him to the table. Just a lamb chop and a bit of gravy. He just moved it across his plate with his knife. Back and forth, back and forth. Never so much as looked at me, sir. Poor and proud, I thought to myself. Poor and proud. And those two don't go together. You can be one or you can be the other, but you can't be both.
So he was unhappy?
Well, some people, sir, are born to be unhappy. It's in their blood. And he had a temper too, I know that. Many times he damned me for my singing.
Did you sing?
No, I trilled a little. In London town there lived a maid, mark well what I do say. In London town there lived a maid.
No more, Mrs. Angel. No more. You distract me. You divert me. How can I write winged words when you bring me down to earth?
It's only a song, Mr. Chatterton. Thought you was partial to songs.
It is not the song, it is the singer.
Oh, beg pardon. Little bugger.
Mr. Beaumont, were you a friend of the deceased?
As near a friend as he ever had, I think. He was not a man for society.
He preferred his own company.
He told me that he was his parents' only child, and that his father died before he was born. That would lead a boy to find solace in himself.
It might also lead him to unhappy thoughts.
I do not think that he was unhappy. nervous, sometimes with a strange nervousness that came upon him unawares. Then he would shake as if he were in a fever. But the fit would soon pass.
Did you ever visit his lodgings in Brook Street, Mr. Beaumont?
Oh, yes. I have seen him at work there. He sat at a small table with all his papers spread before him. He would call out to me, "Prepare a fresh pen." Then he wrote with a fury, scarcely pausing. His thoughts were so swift.
So he did not pause to reflect?
There was no need. He reflected the world.
He was pleased with his work?
He was aware of his own genius.
Now, Mr. Beaumont, I gather that you were with Mr. Chatterton on the afternoon before his death.
That is perfectly correct, sir.
Can you explain to us the circumstances of your final meeting?
We were reading epitaphs in the churchyard of St. Pancras.
A strange undertaking?
We were simply passing by.
Oh, this would be a fine place for a romance, Sam. Making love among the long dead. Speaking of sweet things when the winding sheets are just beneath us. Having her against one of these old tombs. Kissing lips that will one day be threaded with worms. Oh, what of this one, Sam? Here lies Emily, a martyr to her nerves. Well, she should not have lived in London. Oh, what of this? Died of a goiter. Never is a goiter. Oh, here's one that rhymes weep with seat. His name was Daniel. I hope that he is enjoying all the comforts of Christianity. I request them not, for I am no Christian. I mean to turn Muhammad. Help! Whoa. Seriously, help!
Tom was so deep in thought at one specimen of verse that he stumbled unawares into a grave just freshly dug. I helped him out.
I am happy to help the resurrection of genius.
Oh, my dear friend, I do not feel the sting of a speedy dissolution. I've been at war with the grave for some time and will not be vanquished by it yet.
I never saw him again.
Everyone agreed without examining the evidence that the young poet, the genius, must have committed suicide from poverty, from neglect, from starvation. But it didn't happen. It was not like that at all.
Sam! I am in funds. I'm guinea rich.
How so? Highway robbery?
Easier. I've just come from the Shoe Lane Coffee House where I fell in with Mr. John Seymour of the London Journal.
The Seymour?
The very same. Now, he promises me 2 guineas if I will write an ode in praise of porcelain pigs. His brother has a manufactory in Clapham.
A noble subject, Tom.
Now, I can rhyme porcelain with coarse linen, but I cannot find a rhyme for pig as yet.
That was not his only commission. He had an abundance of work, more work than he could manage.
How do you know?
Do you remember the day I was late?
Ralph, I'm sorry, I can't talk now.
Hello.
Yes, I will.
Who was that?
Just a friend. I have been standing here for ages.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was working and forgot the time. And I have found some material that changes everything. I've gone through all the London periodicals for those 4 months of 1770. I was looking for the initials TC, and I found them everywhere. An ode on the sperm whale found in the Thames, the London Remembrancer. Elegy on the Negro slave girl left for dead under London Bridge, the Annual Register. A consideration of the latest news from the Americas, a satire, the Gentleman's Journal. On the child born with 2 heads, the Town and Country magazine. Huh?
I said I've been here for ages. All you ever think of is your work.
That's the most important thing.
What? Did I hear you say that?
Ruth.
I should just walk away. I should just leave you here.
And go to Ralph?
And why not?
Because he's not a scholar. I've just proved that Chatterton was not poor at all. In 4 months he wrote some 53 articles. I have counted them.
Chatterton has got into your head.
The poverty of authors, Sam, is a common observation, but not always a true one. No author can be poor who understands the arts of booksellers. Without this knowledge, the greatest genius might starve, and with it, the greatest dunce may live in splendour. This knowledge I have pretty well dipped into. Now, let me see. Do you follow these calculations, Samuel? Lost by Alderman Phillips's death in promised work, the sum of £1.11 and 6pence. Will gain in elegies lamenting Phillips's death the sum of 2 guineas. Will gain in satires celebrating Phillips's death the sum of 3 guineas. He's a poor author who cannot write on both sides of a question. Total gain will be the sum of 5 guineas. So, deducting his promise of work, I'm glad he is dead by the sum of £3.13 and 6pence.
A high price for him to pay.
So you see, Ruth, he was not unhappy. He was not frustrated by his life in London.
Let me see that painting again. Look. There are scraps of paper scattered over the floor. He must have torn up his manuscripts in a fit of despair.
Perfectly reasonable conjecture. What would be more obvious than in an act of mad dismay he tried to get rid of the work that had caused him nothing but unhappiness?
It does happen.
But that was not the way it happened. There was a biographer, you see, who interviewed Chatterton's surviving friends and relatives some years later. He came upon Chatterton's nephew, Edmund, who had shared a room with the poet in Shoreditch.
He would often look steadfastly into a person's face, without speaking or seeming to see that person for a quarter of an hour or more, until it became quite frightful. During all that time, sir, his thoughts were gone about something else. He used to sit up almost all the night, reading and writing. I was afraid to lie with him. I thought of him as a spirit, sir, that never slept. He never came to bed until very late, sometimes 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and was always awake when I woke. He got up at the same time as I did, about 5 or 6. And this was the curious thing, sir. Almost every morning, the floor was covered with pieces of paper not so big as sixpences. I took them to be his poetins. He had torn them to pieces before he came to bed. He did not want anyone to read them. That's what I believe.
So the scraps of paper were not the product of grief or of despair, but of secrecy.
So why did he take poison?
I'm coming to that.
Do you ever make love, Sam?
No. I buy it ready-made. The whores of London are very obliging.
May I tell you then of my act of darkness?
Do. I am at home in the dark.
It was my landlady, Mistress Angel.
Ah, it is always thus.
Well, I was leaning from my window, savouring the night air, when I heard a woman singing. And when I looked down, I see Mistress Angel drunk to the last degree, knocking upon the door of her own house and demanding admittance.
Oh, Tom, she was to be had.
So I slipped down the stairs, not wishing her to wake the street.
Or wake in the street.
And no sooner did I unlatch the door when she fell into my arms.
You scoundrel, you. You took her at once.
Assuredly, this angel has no wings. She had been to the jelly house, so I made bold to advance my hand under her covered way, and found her to be a woman. "Oh, Mr. Chatterton," she says. "Oh, Mr. Chatterton, I'm only charging you 6 shillings a week." And she hangs on to me like ivy around a tower. And then you know what begins to stir.
Your prickle, naturally. Your familiar. Con amore.
And when she feels it against her, she whispers to me, "Oh, Mr. Chatterton, do you have the true British spunk?" And so I proved that I did.
You dog.
But I must tell you this, Sam. I believe I have some issue from my encounter with Mistress Angel.
A child? So soon? Not possible.
No, I mean an issue from my... you know what, and... there is a pain when I piss. Is it...
The clap! You have the clap! This calls for more wine.
Yes, Sam, you have hit upon it. Thank you for your sympathy. I need more. I need your advice.
Of course, there will be no charge.
What is the remedy?
Go down on your knees and pray for deliverance.
I pray that you will be serious for once.
Mercury.
He is my least favourite god, too elusive.
A sweating tub.
I've heard dreadful reports of men being poached alive. It is like hell. He that goes in never comes out of it. It's worse than quicklime.
There is another way.
Lead me to it.
We call it kill or cure.
Kill?
A mere hyperbole, but it cures. It is arsenic and opium mixed together.
Satan and Gabriel.
The arsenic removes the contagion. The opium allays the sourness and the pain. It is the speediest removal in the world. You need only 4 grains of arsenic to 1 dessertspoon of opium. Hurrah! Finished. The clap is gone. And all the while you will have sweet opium dreams.
And how shall I buy these dreams?
There is an apothecary close by, on the corner of Fleet Street and Fetter Lane. Mr. Jackman presides there. His sign is the Boot with the Spear. A most charming man. He makes up the most agreeable potions and powders, and he never asks questions. He may know that arsenic and opium form a chemical marriage, but he will stay mum.
Does it cost?
It does not come cheap. Yet what is money to you?
How do you know that Chatterton visited this chemist?
Apothecary.
I know. I prefer chemist.
Because Mr. Jackman attended the inquest, his name is in the coroner's record.
The deceased, Mr. Chatterton, came to my shop on the morning of the 20th of August. I know that was the day because it was the birthday of my dear daughter. I had purchased for her a turtle in a bowl. It was on the counter when Mr. Chatterton entered. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you.
You're looking for something in particular?
I am looking at a turtle, I believe.
Oh, it is not a cure for anything I know.
Could you give me 15 grains of your best arsenic and some tincture of opium?
How much of that last item will you be needing, sir?
Enough. Enough to give me relief from my stomach cramps.
That is a matter for a philosopher, sir. How can I measure the severity of your pains?
Oh, they are very severe. They attack me in the night, and I roll in agony until the morning.
Oh, dear.
They are like the burning of a poker, red hot from the fire, and like the stinging of bees.
Oh, what martyrdom! Shall we say 500 drops of laudanum? I could offer you grain pills, sir, but the liquid is to be preferred. It goes down easily.
Yes, and can I measure it with a spoon?
Oh, sir, there are spoons and spoons. There are your dessert spoons and your teaspoons, your dinner spoons and your cook spoons.
Just a spoon.
Oh, just a spoon. That is exactly how I take it. Just a spoon. For stomach cramps, naturally. Laudanum stops the nausea and soothes the pain in the bowels. It is the ruby fountain of bliss. And, of course, physic for the sick. Did you say 15 grains of arsenic powder?
I would be obliged. White arsenic, if you please. For the rats. They disturb me with their squeaking and their gnawing.
What nights you must pass, sir. And with your stomach, too.
Mr. Jackman was a well-known apothecary. He did not want to be implicated in Chatterton's death. For her part, Mrs. Angel suspected the truth, but she too had an interest in playing down any reports of venereal infection. She was supposedly a respectable woman running a respectable lodging-house. If lechery had been suspected, then her work at Vauxhall Gardens might have been revealed. All of the witnesses had reasons to claim that it was pure and simple suicide.
She didn't want her indiscretion known.
Who does?
Ralph, I just
So,
want...
you intend to stay with him?
I can't leave him.
Of course you can leave him. People leave each other all the time. It's called life.
He would go to pieces.
Hasn't that already happened?
I can't take the responsibility.
Oh.
The guilt. You know where he would end, on the streets.
We poets in our youth begin in gladness, and thereof in the end come despondency and madness.
What's that?
Wordsworth on Chatterton.
You believe that stuff, I suppose.
Of course I do.
He wasn't mad. He wasn't despondent. Mrs. Angel started the rumour about poverty as the reason for his suicide, and then it gathered momentum. It was irresistible. What better candidate for literary glory than a young suicide? What a martyr! It was better than Saint Sebastian. It was better than Christopher Marlowe. The Romantic poets were happy to promulgate the myth, but not only them. The dramatists, the novelists, the biographers, the historians. What is history, after all, but a good story? The better told the story, the better the historian. The truth of the matter, assuming in any case that it can ever be discovered, is of no importance. Don't you see? We repeat fabrications to one another. We teach fabrications. That is the nature of human life, of human memory. Could you account, Ruth, for everything that surrounds you in the course of a single second? All the intentions, wishes, motives, perceptions, judgments that swirl around any one of us? It would be impossible. So how do you expect an historian to make sense of years, decades, centuries?
Posterity, antiquity. What were the words that occurred to me in the coffee house? I've lost them. I've lost the melody, and without the melody there is no meaning. Gone. Gone forever, returned whence they came. Ah, the Empyrean. Now I am truly drunk. A toast to Sam Beaumont. First witness of my genius and the first prophet of my fame. A toast to Mrs. Angel, who relieved me of the unpardonable burden of my virginity. A toast to Mr. Jackman and his turtle. Oh, and a toast to kill or cure. Now let me see. What were the proportions Sam told me? Was it 1 grain of arsenic for 1 ounce of laudanum, or 3 grains, or 2 ounces? A little more brandy will aid the memory. Oh, damn, I've lost one. Beneath the bed. 1 for fame. 1 for genius. 1 for youth. Shall I add some for luck? Oh. Oh. That was a strong blow. Very strong blow. But I will utterly defeat the clap. I will rise in the morning purified. Yes. Yes. I feel it purging me.
Mr. Chatterton! It's past 10 o'clock. Oh, the floors need scrubbing. Mr. Chatterton! Oh, it's easier to wake the dead. You gonna keep me knocking, Mr. Chatterton? Give me the key, Emily. I hope there isn't a woman in there.
Oh, my God. Whatever is the matter with you? Have you had a turn? Emily, call the beadle. Stop gulping, girl! Run and fetch the beadle!
After an afternoon of testimony, the coroner came to his verdict very quickly.
Philo de C.
Oh, my God. What is that?
Self-murder, madam. Suicide. I find that Mr. Chatterton swallowed arsenic on the 24th of August, 1770, and did die, as a consequence thereof, during that night.
And so it was judged by posterity. There was very little immediate reaction, but the news of Chatterton's death in the attic soon spread. 24 years later, a schoolboy named Samuel Taylor Coleridge wrote a long poem entitled Monody on the Death of Chatterton. Yet oft perforce 'tis suffering nature's call, I weep that heaven-born genius so should fall, and oft in fancy's saddest hour my soul averted shudders at the poisoned bowl. And that was the point. Genius had perished in that garret room in Holborn, genius neglected and denied. Chatterton offered the first great image of the romantic poet, young, unknown, rejected, the poet as suicide. Chatterton became the model of the modern writer. That is when the conspiracy began.
Is that the right word? Poor Chatterton?
No, not poor at all. Rich in meaning, rich in suggestion. He wanted to create a sensation. He did more than that. He created a myth. He became a legend that has never died.
So what do you intend to do now?
I intend to publish it. I will call it The Romantic Falsehood. I may even dedicate it to Ralph. With much love.
Has he seen sense?
He's moderated. I never see him drunk now.
Well, that's a start, I suppose.
And he's working hard. He's writing a book.
Oh? On what?
Oh, he hasn't told me yet. He says that he wants to surprise me, and you.
I wish him well.
So do I.
You will remember, Ruth, that I'm here. In case.
In case...
Yes.
You are right, Jeremy Allington. I have never died. I am closer to you than you can imagine. I am the boy in the painting. I am the boy in the poems. I am the suicide boy of eternity.
In Chatterton, the Allington Solution by Peter Ackroyd, Jeremy Allington was played by Adrian Scarborough, Thomas Chatterton by Benedict Cumberbatch, Ruth by Rachel Bavage, Ralph Partridge by David Timpson. Sam Beaumont was played by Glenn Macready, Liza Sadovy was Mrs. Angel, Hugh Ross, Jackman, Jonathan Keeble, John Crane, and Hugh Dixon, the coroner. Special guest appearance by Mark Lawson. Other parts were played by members of the company. Technical presentation was by Norman Goodman, and the programme associate was David Timpson. It was directed by Roy Macmillan. Chatterton, the Allington Solution, was produced by Nicholas Soames